My guest today is Shashank Sripada. Shashank, of course, is the co-founder of Gaia, a decentralized computing infrastructure that enables individuals to create, deploy, scale, and monetize their AI agents. Welcome to the show, Shashank.
Good to be here, Andy. Thanks for having me.
It is a pleasure. It's good to have you here, Shashank. Let's do what we do at the beginning of the show. It'd be cool if you could please introduce yourself. Would love to hear some of your personal and professional backstory. What have you been doing in the lead up to co-founding Gaia?
Yeah, sure. I'm a serial entrepreneur, investor. I've founded a few companies myself, a few exits as well. But I think last few years I was actually a founding partner and investor at Next Wave Partners, which was kind of a corporate thematic investment firm. We were managing a couple $100 million from Chipotle for food and agriculture, space fund. We had a GE Energy backed logistics supply chain fund. So corporate backed thematic investing. My company previously, which was an AI data company that we scaled to about 600 million users with the data a day. We're attaching those that data on users to loyalty programs for kind of a lot of corporates like Forever 21 and others. That was actually the first time I got into blockchain. We started attaching blockchain-based loyalty programs for our clients. So it was early 2014, 2015. And then after that company, we essentially founded this investment firm. I loved kind of early stage kind of investing, but also corporate backed investing. So we could kind of accelerate hard to solve tech with corporate contracts and validation. And so originally to get to Gaia, my co-founder Matt and I were working on a fund. As part of that entity, we were going to do a Web3 AI fund focused on the future work. And, we got LP'd by SIG Capital, Susquehanna. And their Web3 arm called ByteTrade turned around and said, actually, you guys should co-found a company with us. So we got under the hood. We looked at a lot of the research they had funded in Berkeley and UT and a few other places, as well as a few of their portcos, and we decided, all right, let's hop in. Let's just find a way to bring all this technology together in like a commercial go-to-market that makes sense. And so that's kind of how Gaia was born.
Awesome. So I think to kind of understand what Gaia is, Shashank, probably useful to understand a bit about, I suppose, the current AI landscape. Most people have played around with one of the various LLMs, whether that's, Claude or ChatGPT or something like that. Of course, as most people are aware, the landscape is dominated by these, your Googles and your OpenAIs, these large corporations, which may or may not have the individual user's best interest at heart. And, I suppose what you guys are doing and other people like what you guys are building at Gaia is, in some sense, a counterweight against that, Shashank?
Yeah, LLMs, I think, definitely kicked off the generative learning race. ChatGPT specifically did. I think the distinction we've been trying to draw, and pretty successfully so far, is that that ChatGPT and OpenAI are great. They kicked off the learning race, but it doesn't stop at that. Our thesis and our focus is to go after the proprietary knowledge sets of humanity. Because if you look at OpenAI, it's still mostly scraped training data. It's data off the internet, and it's not particularly tailored for any specific use case. It's generally great for a lot of different things. However, your proprietary knowledge sets, like your enterprises, your governments, your institutions, your individuals and professors over at Berkeley, where some of this research was done, those have yet to be added to OpenAI's data set. A lot of this data would be rather kept off than added because it's very valuable. So our kind of focus here is open source and Web3 gets unlocks those proprietary knowledge sets to be added to the generative learning race, and we do that through an open source framework, a developer infrastructure that 3 lines of code lets you set up your own agent node. We're like the Stripe for AI agents, and that's done through our kind of the WasmEdge runtime, which our head of engineering, Michael Yuan, pioneered. We co-maintained that with the Linux Foundation, and basically what it allows you to do is plug in any open source LLM, whether that's Llama or any of the ones off of Hugging Face or even DeepSeek, any of the open source LLMs, automatically fine-tuned to any hardware you're running underneath. So you can run it off an 8 GB CPU all the way up to an NVIDIA chip or AWS or BitTensor. It fine-tunes them very quickly, and what we're trying to do is through that open sourcing and lightweight model framework is make it easy, cheap, and quick to deploy an agent. We want to democratize that. We don't want the actual hardware to be a barrier to entry to anyone who wants to participate in the generative learning race.
And so, how would it work, Shashank, in terms of, say, the way the example you used, like whether it's Berkeley or some organization like that has an incredibly valuable data set that hasn't currently been used to train an open AI model or something like that, but someone who has access to that data set, they want to deploy a model on Gaia. What is to stop then someone like AI accessing that through that model and then kind of stealing the data, if that makes sense?
Sure. Yeah, exactly. I think that's the core where blockchain comes in. The developer framework is open source. You run it, and you can control what hardware. You can run it on-prem, like I said, completely permissioned as you see fit. Now, if you want to start to share your agent with others, share and monetize, that's where our Web3 angle comes in. We are an inference network. We allow for the attribution, validation, and monetization of inference on-chain. That's done through a domain node architecture. So you mentioned Berkeley. Berkeley has its own domain. You can go to berkeley.gaianet.ai, and that is essentially a super node. It acts as a TCP/IP router to route your traffic to the right mix of nodes underneath. So if you have a chemistry question, it gets routed to the chemistry professor's agent node, and any additional compute for that node is bolstered either internal or external to that domain. So in that way, we effectively match compute with ML models, and people can also stake their tokens at both the domain and node level using our AVS that we developed with EigenLayer to maintain and validate and earn staking rewards. There's also a slashing mechanism to penalize bad actors. But essentially, this kind of infrastructure incentivizes sharing and honors attribution and monetization on chain, so it can't be tampered with.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so the idea is really just to simplify that agent deployment then. So you guys provide the framework that combines, LLMs, hardware, computation, and it just lowers the barriers for developers who, there must be just countless developers out there in the world with access to different data sets, and they're wondering, what can they do to either contribute their data or monetize their data or, just for the greater good, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think it was developer first. Like I said, we're an open source team. Michael, our head of engineering, I mentioned, he's former SVP at Red Hat and Linux. We are developer first, but I think we're quickly branching out into low code or no code frameworks. There's a whole tool we're developing for no code where you don't even have to be a developer. We have a lot of Web 2 clients, and we want to have a Web 2 consumer client soon. We've test cased it a lot amongst TikTok shops and other kind of CPG and D2C shop owners across Shopline and Shopify. That's coming out. That product's coming out soon, but when we started, it was developer first. Our whole team is a bunch of DevRels. Matt, my co-founder, was DevRel and head of community at Consensus. Sydney Lai, our other co-founder, was also head of DevRel in multiple chains. So we care and want to know what developers think. And the initial problem they were solving was that. But I think in the next phase, we're hitting about 700,000 nodes globally to date. I think the next phase is to take the second step of the message of what we can do. And that what we can do is the vision we've had from the beginning, which is we believe agents are the next point of communication and the point of sale mechanism for the world. If you think of the website, the app, we think that the next stage is agents. Both Web 2 and Web 3 should be converging on that. We see an opportunity where, because for all the reasons I mentioned regarding kind of centralizations problems, Web3 has a unique angle to fulfill and solve the problem that Web2 just cannot. A centralized mechanism inherently disenfranchises small businesses, individuals, and others. So we have an opportunity to set about that vision. We believe that there will be more agents than humans in the next 2 to 3 years. Those agents will need banking, wallets, KYC, AML, legal, and all kinds of other services, which we're already in the process of building. And on the Web3 side, we've already built a moat around that core vision. So I mentioned EigenLayer for the incentivization mechanism and validation mechanism for staking. We have partnerships with over a dozen wallets like MetaMask, Base, Binance, OKX, and a bunch of others, where we are creating an agent marketplace with some of these folk. That's transferable agents and validation across agents. We are giving DePIN providers all over the world customers. Because of our low lift mentality, we've been able to deliver customers to the likes of IONET, DePINX, Filecoin, and others. And so, we're delivering customers and revenue to quite a few people, and we're also selling domains with ENS. And the ENS domains essentially become like an API call. It's a way to point on where is your agent? Let me point towards it. It's a simplification, and we're seeing some strong revenue growth there too. But we think all of this builds towards a very short-term future where our system can be is the only way to for things to work in Web 2 and Web 3.
So just dig into that a bit more, Shashank, so people understand what you're talking about with, when you say there will be maybe more agents than humans in the next few years, and just differentiate between, because obviously, people like OpenAI are moving really fast in this arena as well. So what are the pros and cons of someone just deploying an agent from OpenAI or deploying an agent from Gaia, and kind of what that will look like in the real world?
Yeah, well, look, we're not trying to take down OpenAI. It's certainly be preposterous at our stage to even say that. We think it's complementary. Just like there was always Windows, there's always Linux. And if you look at Linux, it's still the most used OS on servers, on a lot of enterprise applications. That's because enterprises want to own their own licensing. They want to own their own instance. And they want to control all the parts of it. Same with individuals and proprietary knowledge holders. We think that we will be another dominant solution and another piece of the puzzle. I think if you want to compare it, I think OpenAI is kind of like Yahoo.com in 1999. It's kind of the first gateway into the internet for most people. But it covers everything everywhere all at once. It's sports. It had sports, finance, music, news, and all kinds of everything. But that's great. It's a gateway into the internet, but the rest of the internet needs to develop, right? And we believe that two trends are going to force that. One is, as I mentioned, the focus on centralization. We believe can't necessarily work. in the longer term. We don't want that vision, at least, because it becomes a tool to control people and censorship, and also expensive. The way that compute works, OpenAI is just too costly for many developing countries and developed countries who can't get their hands on NVIDIA chips. Right? It kind of disenfranchises the AI capabilities of many populations. Now, if you talk about decentralized coordination of inference, if you're running things on prem, you're thinking about running things as you want to, then it starts to open up the possibilities for different governments, institutions, enterprises, and individuals to conduct business as they see fit, aka have your own agents or the replacement for your own website, right? Censorship free, and base and tailored to your needs. You don't need an NVIDIA chip if you're a simple education inference mechanism, right? If you're just teaching kids, reading and on a on-prem node in Africa, you don't need an OpenAI. That you don't need to go do a cloud recall up to NVIDIA servers. It's just too much, and it's like taking a jet engine to go around the block, right? It's just not kind of the way it can develop. So there's numerous reasons we believe that a strong decentralized AI ecosystem can and will develop. We see that the launch of DeepSeek and some of these other open source models as proof of that the LLM race itself, we believe, will become a zero-sum game because supposedly OpenAI, as DeepSeek developed for $6 million. Now, I get it. It might be subsidized. It might be, all kinds of other cheating on that metric. But this point stands that they're open source. I think there's cheaper ones now, even cheaper ones being created. So we believe that the LLM race itself will continue to kind of be a race to the bottom for profits, which means where's the value driven? The value, we believe, will be driven by the customization of agents and the way that agents create value.
Yes, indeed. And so you're launching it's like a marketplace for agents, right? I think that's the one that you're doing with MoonPay. Is that's still on track?
Oh yeah, so the marketplace for agents is actually with MetaMask and a few others. The MoonPay one is account abstraction.
Right.
We're early stages still, but we want agents to be able to easily off-ramp, on-ramp. My goal, and I put this challenge out every time I speak publicly, is I would love someone to create an agent. We have the tech right now for you to create your agent. Go tell it to go read every finance textbook you can find. Go read Warren Buffett's textbook. Then go create sub-agents that each individually follow maybe the best crypto influencers, the best finance influencers, Elon Musk or whatever you want. And then you can say, hey, go create a semi-conservative strategy and portfolio for me across all asset classes, equity, crypto, bonds, whatever, and go trade, right? You can do that, but you need the infrastructure to allow it, right? Right now, there's KYC, there's the off-ramp, on-ramp, which we're doing with MoonPay, hopefully. And there's some of these other pieces that need to be built. They are being built. So that is kind of, because we're kind of inventing the wheel while educating about the wheel, we're, more like kind of taking the active approach to building these.
Yeah, and you have like a lot of people involved here in terms of just from in your ecosystem, in terms of like, I guess, capital backing. Just talk us through, I suppose, what your network or community or how you think about this. It looks pretty impressive.
Thank you. We, like I said, our origin story is related to one of the largest hedge funds in the world, SIG Capital, Susquehanna. Their founders, Jeff Yass and Tim Gong and them were the first investors in ByteDance, TikTok. They still own quite a bit of it, I believe. And so it gave us a huge network to start with. We're also backed by Marana, which owns Mantle and Bybit and a few other things. But we did, outside of those, we did a bit of an unorthodox approach. We do have some VCs invested, certainly, but we actually focused heavily on strategic enterprise investment. So we have the likes of MoonPay. We mentioned Consensus, Mesh. We have BitGo and a few other strategics all kind of aligned with us that kind of allow us to go kind of move quickly. Eigenlayer has given us a multi-million-dollar grant, and a few of their execs are invested with us. So I think what we've focused on was, hey, look, it takes a village to build this ecosystem, and that's what it is. It's a developer ecosystem, so that we're zero vendor lock-in. We are not our own chain. We're not an L2 or L1, so we can work with any chain. We're omni-chain focused, even though we start with EVM. So we want to have everyone invested in us and wishing to kind of lift the whole, all tides lift the boats, right? If we believe that the next stage of Web3 is the development of agents, as I illustrated earlier. So we need the entire developer community working towards this. This could be the next big proper traction of Web3 beyond, as a financial tool, which it's always been till up to date. This is a chance to confidently answer back that age-old question in Web3 of, hey, does this really need blockchain? Right? It's like, yes, it needs blockchain, because unless you want a monopolist like Google or OpenAI sitting between you and your data and the end consumer, then you do need blockchain. So I'm very excited about this, and that's why we have this illustrious cap table from Korea Blockchain Week's owners to all the American ones I just mentioned. It's a pretty global spanning cap table.
Yes, indeed, it certainly is. Thank you, Shashank. And look, I mean, so obviously agents is where this kind of, the AI movement is focused at the moment. That is kind of the next iteration of what people are going to see. And, you talk about, well, you're not the only one talking about it, but like this idea of sovereign AI agents, which becomes a little bit more, I don't know, philosophical, if you like, becomes political. It's fascinating. It's interesting. Just would love to kind of hear your, and look, feel free to speculate a bit, just how you think about what is going to happen here, Shashank.
In sovereign AI agents, I mean, look, I think it's incredibly important for an alternative system to develop where you can own your own data. Your agent becomes you. It's essentially, think about how, so nowadays, sometimes they look at how many followers you have, whether it's LinkedIn or Instagram or whatever. Depending on a few jobs are starting to look at your social media following. Agents are literally a 1000x iteration of that. It's literally you, and your ability to create and control your own agents is going to be how effective you are at your job. So it's a different paradigm of work. And it's not going to replace humans. That's the wrong convo. We think that OpenAI did a little bit of disservice with they kind of developed for over a decade, and then one day threw up in the floodgates and said, all right, we know everything, pay us. Right? So it set the wrong conversation and the wrong tone. I mean, I actively encourage all of my employees to use agents, but I also rail at them when they poorly use them, when they poorly use ChatGPT. Right? Go finish your work quicker. I want you to be able to do more stuff, but it's only as smart as you. So that's why protecting your knowledge and your agent is key to protecting your value in the future work environment. And then going beyond that philosophically, I actually think if a decentralized AI ecosystem does not develop, we have a risk of potential calamity from a socio-political level. Think about, I think that AI becomes the new guns, germs, and steel, right? It becomes a tool to dominate those who can't afford the compute, those who can't afford the models. If you do not have an open source decentralized ecosystem, it could easily be the next colonization. And it's one that most 99% of the world will lose out on. It'll cross nations and boundaries. It will focus on the uber rich and the uber ultra rich corporations. And in this instance, I'm not saying that any of the C-suite are malicious right now at the big tech companies, but we're mostly dealing with still the founder operator generation of corporations in tech. Think about what happens when you get to the extractionary management that you see in other corporations. where they just need shareholder value. So we have a real threat on a larger philosophical sense, zooming out, of open AIs of the world becoming the East India companies of the world. So you need an alternative ecosystem that's competitive with the centralized models, and you need it ASAP.
Yep. Very well articulated. Thank you, Shashank. All right. Well, look, as we finish up this part of the podcast, just for individuals, for developers, for investors, for anyone who wants to keep up to date with what you guys are building at Gaia and looking at getting involved in the various different ways that they can do so. Yeah. What is the best place for people to go? What should they do? Where should they go?
Yeah. Go on our website. Go set up a node. Mess around with it, give us feedback, critical feedback, if it must be. We're open source, so feel free to tear us down, join our Discord and Telegram. We get better the more people use it and help us develop it. It's like I said, we're deploy fast, deploy often. Some of that Linux Red Hat ethos. So we want you guys to use it, develop on it, and really keep learning. You build an agent and use it to learn on how to train an agent to serve yourselves. So,
yes, indeed. All right. Thank you, Shashank. And listeners, GaiaNet.ai link is in the show notes. It's time to finish off the episode, Shashank, and we do that, of course, by running you through the very famous crypto conversation hot take round. Are you up for it?
Sure. Let's do it.
Let's do it, Shashank. Just going to run some questions at you. Just want you to give me your honest answers, hot take style, if you like. Question one is, where would you say that you sit on the Bitcoin maximalist to multi-chain opportunist spectrum?
I'm firmly in the middle. Maybe a cop-out, but no.
Yeah, no, actually, that's probably the only sensible answer, I think, these days. All right, what would you say is your most... your crypto opinion that you have the most conviction in? What's your firmest conviction crypto opinion?
I think crypto will be the tool, or Web3 will be the tool, a set of tools to kind of lead the new future of e-commerce.
Yeah. Oh, very nicely said. All right. Look, Shashank, Bill Gates famously said that we tend to overestimate what we can accomplish in 2 years and underestimate what we can accomplish in 10. So look, 10 years is a long time, but I guess Gaia, GaiaNet, AI, agents, man, what does it all look like in 10 years time?
Oh yeah. I don't want to be too presumptuous here, but look, I think there's going to be a lot of models, a lot of ways to slice and dice this, but it's a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity. And I think Gaia sits as one of the leaders in inference. We are a last mover advantage company, which means, hey, you guys go build your LLMs. You guys do your agent frameworks. It's going to get cheaper and cheaper and quicker to build those. But you're all going to need to come to our watering hole for inference. So I think we become the dominant leader in that. We have a lot of ecosystem planned across various verticals like space, media, tech, industrials, fashion, CPG, retail, beauty. So you're going to see a lot of this. I think we become the premier inference provider and the premier launch pad for other agents.
Yes, indeed. All right. Another way of thinking about this is a quote by William Gibson, who famously said that the future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed. With that in mind, Shashank, can you think of an example of the future being here right now, but most people aren't aware of it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think the AIs, what I said about AI, it's here. It's going to be used, but people treat it as a threat. And they're not thinking through how can they use it for their kind of their own furthering. It's going to be a fact of life. It's like saying no to the computer. Computers are bad. You're going to wait 20 years. You're just going to be not too good at Word or Excel.
Yeah, very well said. And it brings us nicely to the final question, which is, what is your favorite science fiction book, film, or TV show?
Oh, The Expanse.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yeah, that is a great selection. Great show, The Expanse. Hey, thank you, Shashank. Thank you for coming and spending some time with us today. This was a lot of fun. Just to close it out, again, make the case for why developers, users should take a look at what you guys are doing with GaiaNet and, help build out, the future of AI, the deployment of agents, etc. Please take it away.
Yeah, I think developers should look at us because we're open source. We're easy, we're very low lift, and very quick to install and try out. And I think in terms of as we launch all of our products, whether it's domains or nodes or AVS or our upcoming kind of launchpad, MCP registry launchpad, you're going to be able to create your own agents, make them have their own tokens, do little mini IDOs. You're going to be able to have your agents have addresses in the domain service. There's a huge suite of really easy to use, really great tools that we're creating. So check us out, and we're happy to build with you guys. We want people to succeed in their own businesses. Build your businesses on Gaia. We already have a whole list and growing. And we're going to be here to help you, fund you, and support you along the way.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shashank. All the best, and
Thank
bye
you.
for now.